We could start the project in March and the beginning of April, and our students have been working in developing, like different files with information about resources that can be used to teach and learn English as a foreign language online. So as you can see here, these are the two members of this project. It's the University of Lower Silesia in Poland and the Faculty of Education of the University of Córdoba in Spain. In total, we have 102 students involved, that more or less are half and half from each institution. In all the cases are teachers. In the case of the University of Córdoba, all of them are pre-service teachers. And in the case of Lower Silesia, there are also some teachers that are taking some postgraduate courses. So, Barbara, if you want to present the project.
Yeah, I can continue. I can take it from here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
very
Can
well.
everybody hear me? Yes?
Yes, we hear you, yes.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know. Okay, so hello to everybody, and thank you for attending this seminar. I have now changed the slide so you can see again our twin space for the project Learning English with Technology. Like Christina said, we had never, I had also personally never had so many students on one project. I think it's a record, 102 students. In my case, I had both bachelor students and master students on the project. And as Christina said, we set off this off without knowing about what the situation was going to be like with COVID-19. But in the end, in the case of my BA and MA student, this project served as their school internships in these difficult times. So we're very fortunate to actually have this project going at this time. I also had a group of postgraduate students for whom the project was part of the ESL teacher training. And out of this group, we have today a representative. Marta is with us, who will also say a few words summarizing her and the group experience on the project. E-twinning as an idea in general was new to all of my students, both BA, MA and postgraduate, which made it even more important. In the Polish core curriculum, e-twinning is set to be one of the tools to conduct the classes in the school. So it seems very important that our students leave the university with the ability to use the tools and encouraged to do the projects with their students later in class. So we have, hold on, the next slide. Okay, so as you can see on the left with the pages, we have divided the project into number of pages, because with so many students we could have divided them in many groups. We have, of course, welcoming pages about Wrocław and Cordoba. Normally we would take pictures with groups of students and, you know, have them posted on TwinSpace. Unfortunately, this time round it was not possible due to COVID-19. We had English language techniques for self-study, English language teaching methods and approaches, online tools to teach English to younger learners, online tools to learn English for self-study. So as you can see, we have a great variety of topics there, especially that in the project, like on Christina's part and mine as well. We have students of different levels of language skills and also different levels in terms of what they study at university. My students were BA, MA, and postgraduate. So for example, my postgraduate students were working on English language teaching methods and approaches, whereas the BA students were working on more like English language techniques for self-study or online tools to learn English, which was also more appropriate and more interest to them at this level. So first we divided the students in groups and we assigned the tasks, which were the pages equivalent, and they had to work on their team in groups. And then we had a session, online session, where we instructed them how to add materials to pages. As you know, in eTwinning, in TwinSpace, it's not really intuitive immediately. So once they uploaded the materials, as you can see here about Wrocław, second task was to read what other people wrote and comment on their work, okay, and maybe ask a question about something that was of interest to them. And you will see that we really had them interacting. Hold on. You can see here in page discussions, we had 225 messages, and I must tell you, this is not the end. They're still interacting. So this is a huge success. I will show you in the next slide, and in a moment I'll come back to this one, how they interacted. In the first one, Veronica, and then Carmen replied, and then Kasia, and then Anna and Isabel. So you can see we really had the interaction going on between them, and that is really, really satisfying. The only issue that was really technical that we have come across was that in the page discussions, when you click reply, your reply goes to the very end of discussion, to the last page. Hello, somebody speaking. I can hear.
Lei fa finta di, vedi, guarda seminari. Fa finta di studiare.
I can hear somebody speaking in Italian.
Daniela, hai il microfono acceso.
In the, shall I continue? Could somebody mute their microphone? Okay, so I'll continue. So as you can see, the students were really interacting. I'll go back to the slide with the pages. You will see the third page, Skype between Spanish and Polish students. We were really uncertain about this one. This was the first time that I personally included Skype within the TwinSpace project. Obviously, we called it Skype, but we knew that the students are going to use other tools like Zoom or Twins, etc. And we had 18 Skype groups because we wanted them to be small. So in order to manage that, we really had to give them clear instructions and criteria and allow for preparation time. But we wanted them to agree and exchange information on their own in English, as in regards to when they meet and what they use to meet. Will it be Zoom, Skype, or other tool? And after they would do that, so we left them on their own. After they have done the Skype conversation, they were asked to write a report in the form of a reflection, like, what did you talk about? How did you feel? Do you now feel stronger? Do you feel more capable in terms of your English language skills? In particular, my students were rather frightened. I think my student today maybe will confirm, before speaking in English to other students from a different country. And I think in particular, this Skype practice was very important because as future teachers later, they will have to interact with other teachers in Europe, in the world, right? So this part was very important. And from the report that they wrote, from the reflections, I don't know, Christina, if you have received any from your students already or not. The ones, a few that I received already were very positive, were outstanding.
Yeah, same in Spain. It's true that the deadline is this Friday, so we only have some of them. But
Yeah.
all the comments are quite positive, and they appreciate especially this face-to-face, even via these video conference tools, because this interaction was really enriching for all of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I think that was the last thing I wanted to say about. Yes, I know. Maybe I would like to mention the last thing about the technicality that I started talking about when somebody started speaking Italian in the background. So when you click reply in the page discussions, your reply goes to the very end, to the last page, without sort of attaching the message or to the person you're talking to. So we had, if you click quote, the second option, then it attaches and the other person in green to your message, and that was the way that we advise students to be communicated, even though we don't really understand why the reply button doesn't reply immediately next to the somebody's conversation. So that was the only technicality. And now I would, with great pleasure, like to invite my student Marta from the postgraduate course to say a little bit about the experience.
Okay, so this is the moment.
Martha, just let me make you a presenter. Hold on a moment. Now you're a presenter, okay?
So now I can talk. Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. As Barbara said, my name is Marta, and I am studying postgraduate English in preschool and early school education. And about the experience with twinning project, I had pleasure to attend. Frankly speaking, at the beginning of our project, I had this feeling that this can be only something which allows us to kill some time during Corona crisis and this lockdown we have at this moment. And I was thinking, okay, so we will make some presentations and nobody will read it really, and what interesting can happen. And I think I was more than wrong. And as Barbara said before, the idea was to read the materials other groups prepared and discuss it in this comment section. And when I started reading it, I was in shock. And when I was preparing for my talk today, I thought I was almost screaming like Phoebe Buffay in Friends. That's a brand new information because I didn't know a lot of apps and websites students from Spain shared, and I find it really very helpful. So I think I will take for myself a lot of interesting teaching and self-study ideas. And as Barbara said before, the Skype call between my group and Spanish students group was, in my opinion, a big success. I was really stressed before because I find it a bit odd to talk to strangers, especially online and with camera, but it went surprisingly smooth. And we discussed, for example, how the school system works in both countries and about the job market, how easy or how hard it is to get a job after graduation. And there were a lot of other subjects, teaching online, pandemic, how are we managing this situation. And I think we shared a lot of thoughts and ideas and a lot of laughter during this Skype call. And after this experience, I think I am maybe more relaxed about online cooperation with anybody. And I think, I believe that with this kind of project and cooperation, we can, I think, raise aware young Europeans. So I am super happy about this project, and every next one I hope I will start in the future. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you. And
Yes,
this is the end of our presentation.
I have a question, if I may. You mentioned that in your twin space you have pages for resources for younger people to learn English, and also a resource page for self-learning of English. I'm just wondering if those pages are public.
I don't think they are, because they're in our twin space, but maybe when we close the project, when we finish, maybe the project will be public. Is that possible on eTwinning? I don't know, Anne.
I think it's possible to make, I'm not sure about this, Alex, maybe you can support me on this. Is it possible to make individual pages public?
Yes, sure. You can only make individual pages public.
Okay.
You have to choose each one.
I have a very selfish reason for asking you this. I am involved in a group, an eTwinning group, for which was set up to assist teachers in during this time, trying to cope with teaching from at home, or even as a parent coping at home. And we're looking for every kind of resource that we can. And I would love to be able to link to those pages that you mentioned from that group, because I think they would be very useful to a lot of teachers. So that's the only reason I ask.
Absolutely, I don't see a problem at all. We can do that. I don't know how yet, but I can ask Monica from Warsaw to help us.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. Are there any other questions or comments for our presenters before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I would like to say something regarding this, and it's that the students in both countries have worked really hard. So it would be very, I think, grateful for them that that these resources, all this work that they've done, is public for everybody who may need it. So yeah, we'll think about that.
I agree.
Excellent, excellent.
And we have finished. Thank you, everyone.
Silvana or Isabella, are you talking? Who is starting?
Can you start? Yeah, okay, great. Hi, everybody. I'm Isabella Perevito from the University of Turin. I'm very happy to be here with you and to share this hard time. And I will give you some information about our experience in Turin. I'm a teacher training supervisor from the pre-primary and primary degree program. And first of all, I would like to share you some consideration about the impact of the school closure for COVID on the pre-primary and primary teacher training. I think this impact is common also to your schools, and so we can reflect on it. Our students couldn't easily have access to schools, obviously, so there was the impossibility to follow the original initial teacher training program in primary schools. And at the university, we decided to update the criteria for the training program in order to guarantee the training in schools. At the beginning, schools in Italy had some difficulties in delivering remote teaching sessions, so we had to wait for schools to get used with that, and then we could find some solutions in our university. So what happened with us? First, we decided to choose to update the criteria, and we started with implementing the students' competencies in subject teaching methodologies and in online teaching through webinars and online courses attendance. Then, as concerns schools, sorry, we ask schools providing training to involve trainees in conducting teaching sessions via video conference or in the planning and organization of online educational activities that schools were organizing for the pupils. We gave also to our students the opportunity to work on research, so they could conduct topic-based researches related to their training. We started to make also considerations about the impact of these distant teaching practice on our students and even on the teachers involved in the training program. So we realized that our students now are more confident in using online teaching tools, such as video conferences tools, as told even Marta before. Students are also able to plan online teaching modules, and also they can arrange teaching material or learning objects. Schools and teachers providing the training program are also taking part into training courses or online teaching practices webinar, and are experimenting remote teaching. So this is a great opportunity for working on e-twinning at the moment. We were thinking also about the future scenario, a possible future scenario for our schools. So probably there will be an implementation of teachers' interest in e-twinning, and there will be probably an increase in the number of teachers and classes involved in e-twinning projects. And so there will be more opportunities even for our trainees to be involved in e-twinning projects in school during their training program. Keeping in mind that, we decided to organize webinars to promote the e-twinning use through our students community. So we got in touch with our local unity, e-twinning unit, yes, and we decided to activate 3 webinars. The attendance was on voluntary base, and the number of students involved was more or less 141 out of 250 attending year 5, for which we have planned these webinars. The number of university tutors involved was 7. And we had good outcomes after that. So our students started to register in the e-twinning platform, and many of them started to work on e-twinning projects. So at the moment we have groups of students working on e-twinning projects. They are planning, and they are trying the tools. So it's a good opportunity. And now my colleague Silvana Rampone from the USR Piemonte will give you all the details concerning the webinars.
Hello everybody, I'm Silvana, thank you Isabella.
I have been an eTwinning ambassador since the beginning. I don't remember when was the beginning. It's a long time ago. And at the moment, I work at the regional education body of the Ministry of Education in my region, Piedmont, where I coordinate the eTwinning activities every year. We are used to involve teachers in activities in order to make them experience the importance of cooperation in eTwinning. And during the 3 webinars that we ran for the teacher student, we tried to do the same in order to give the student not the same experience as the one they could have at schools with the children, but to make them understand what is possible to do in eTwinning and how cooperation between European schools gives an added value to the activities at school. Each webinar has been held by 2 eTwinning ambassadors already involved in the TTI project. The university collected the names of the students interested in attending the webinars, and we sent an invitation letter to the students with info about the webinar and how to register on eTwinning. And about this, I have to thank the national agency, the Italian national agency, for the big work they did in giving permission to them to enter the eTwinning Live. The aim of the webinars was to make the students aware of the principles that make a good planning in eTwinning project. So at the beginning of the webinar, we gave students a planning grid to be used during the whole webinar in order to analyze some projects that have been awarded with a quality label that we selected in advance. And we asked the students to identify and take note of the quality features of this project. Then we showed the video of the project Imagine Together for the World that our colleague and friend ambassador Emanuela Boffa won with the European Prize 2018. And we asked the students to focus on the triggered processes and outcomes of the project, because in this video the whole process of a project is very well outlined. To follow, we used a Mentimeter to ask the student to reflect upon the skills that a 21st century teacher needs. And as you can see from the pictures, cooperation is the biggest skill, followed by digital competence, flexibilities, and other skills. The student ideas have been then compared with the teacher's skills highlighted by the TALIS survey in 2018, and with the skills that an eTwinning teacher puts into action while working within eTwinning projects. We have invited the students to take the opportunities for their personal development offered by eTwinning Live, by attending seminars, live events, and also the group sections, highlighting, and we highlighted the SOS Distance Learning National Group and also our regional support group. After, the ambassadors went through different projects. They showed the example of cooperation or how to set the pages of a TwinSpace, and asked the students to identify the quality criteria of the project that have been shown according to the planning grid that we gave at the beginning of the webinar. And we asked the students to give feedback about eTwinning in general through a final Mentimeter, in which they were asked to rank the importance of what gives an added value to eTwinning schools. The key ideas are in Italian, but I can translate them in the order they appear. They are cultural dimension, quality labels, digital competence, system building, language improvement, cross-curricular teaching. And from the result of the survey, it appears very clearly that the students kept the main idea. As follow-up, we asked the student to try to plan a possible e-twinning project together with their tutor at the university, and to share with us this project that now they can't implement at school because the schools are closed, but they could implement this project in their future at school. This is an example of a group of 6 students that arrived just yesterday. They planned a project from seed to dish, organized, divided into 3 parts. And what I saw in this project is that they really manage to put in the project all the strategies, principles and suggestions given by the ambassador during the webinar. As you can see, they have planned to make vegetable gardens in the partner schools, to observe the growth of the wheat and to collect all data in graphs, and then compare the graphs of the growth of the wheat from different countries. That will be different because the season, the weather, climate are different. They put many surveys, interactive tools such as Padlet, and also they planned to run surveys at home where children have to take photos of labels of food which contains flour, and then put everything on a Padlet or another tool, and then compare similarities and differences, and they create games with coding, with Scratch, compare habits about eating, having a video conference in which children share how breakfast is prepared in each country. And as documentation and dissemination, they planned to organize a final thing link and to close the thing link in a QR code that can be spread in the school to parents, to family, to other school, to show what they did with the partners within the project. And they also planned the cooking activities and the final video recipe. So I managed to stay within my minutes, and so if you have questions, I'm happy to answer. I pass to the following, to the student.
Okay, so thank you very much, both of you. You've been very busy. I'm really impressed with both the presentations we've had so far. Really excellent work. Does anybody have any questions or comments on our 2 presenters, Isabel and Silvana, at this point? I see some people.
Thank you for reminding me. It was 15 years ago that ambassador were.
It was a long time, a long time. Thank you, Franz. Yes, it is indeed an excellent presentation of how to to use a webinar as a means of getting the brain moving. Excellent. Do you have a student that you want to present now, Isabel and?
No, there will be Sheila from the University of L'Aquila, so a different university.
Okay.
And she will present her experience.
Fine, excellent. Okay, well, we just see if there's any more comments or questions for either Isabel or Silvana. If not, we will go to Sheila.
Okay, here I am. Good evening to everybody, and thank you for inviting us. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I am a student of primary education sciences from University of L'Aquila, and I'm here to talk about my experience in this project called iTwins, in which took part 3 countries, Italy, France, and Netherlands. This project began at university and then continued and ended remotely due to COVID-19. But in this situation, we see that collaboration and communication have been more intense and fundamental to get over the project. I would like to share you the twin space so you can take part virtually in this project. I'll try to share. Okay, I've shared the twin space. Can you see it?
Let's stop sharing the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Now you have to share my screen. And then...
Yes, I'm trying to do it.
Okay. Are you sharing your screen? Okay.
Sheila, you have to click on, you know, the image you have in the middle of the screen, share my screen, and then choose the browser or your desktop.
Yes, I've done this, but I can share my screen.
So maybe you want to go back to the presentation, or I can maybe share it for you.
Okay, yes, I'll go back to the presentation.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm putting it back up now. If you want to put in the chat the link to your where you want to go,
yes,
maybe we can put it up for you. Okay, your presentation should be back on screen now for everybody.
Okay. Okay, so I described the stages of the project. Okay, the countries involved were 3, Italy, Netherlands, and France. And so we, in the first 2 meetings, we did the, the registration in the platform. Then we recorded a podcast in which every student recorded a message for other partners, so to better know each other. Then we prepared a school system presentation. Italian students prepared the Italian school system, so French students prepared there. And then we prepared a quiz to test the knowledge. And then we were divided into groups, and we were 7. And each team had to prepare a lesson. And then we had the forum in which we exchanged messages, suggestions, evaluations, and also feedback from our teachers. Then everything flowed in the live event in which every team presented the lessons. And we also did a peer evaluation by chatting. It was a great experience. I can say that it has been a great experience for us as a student and even as teachers to be. The communication tools we used were the pages in which we found timelines and deadlines, the materials that was a sort of a repository for images, documents, and results of the test. The forum, as I said, where the students created the lessons and gave feedback about. We use Twin Space for public communication and the Twin Mail for private communication with teachers and also with students. They were the team. Every team chose a title. I don't remember every every team lessons. I can say something about my team. That was team number 5. We used Shakespeare Midsummer Night's Dream as a drama to realize with students. And then the live event was April the 8th. We used the platform Zoom and the chat for the peer activity. These are a few photos about the event. This is the chat. This is one of the lesson. Here it is another lesson. And then we did a feedback activity in which students and teachers answered a questionnaire about the impact of this activity. The activity has been defined as challenges and or the expectations from the project. And as I said, I can talk in my opinion, but also from the other students' point of view, that it has been a great experience, and also because allowed us to better use the tools, the technological tools, and also to know a twinning platform. I want to thank our teacher that supported us in this journey, especially my teacher Lia Molini and the other teacher that is Franz.
Sheila, if you want, I
Okay.
can share the twin face. I found it, but I don't know if maybe it's enough from the presentation.
Okay, I think that it's okay. Yes.
Can I go? Back? Through your presentation a little bit,
did a really good job
because I think this one, for instance,
e-twinning project.
When you did a webinar with these teams, did each one do a separate kind of meeting, or did you all meet at once and then each team presented one after the other?
Are essential. I mean, within TwinSpace it's difficult because they had to wait for each other to respond. They couldn't find each other.
For each team, and when they met online, it was just that team that was meeting. It went
like a rocket. And so, yeah, I was really enthusiastic about the final results that they came up with.
Okay, so on April the 8th, all the teams were online. How long did that last? It must have lasted quite a while.
The thing is that the secondary school teachers, student teachers,
and how did the students do the peer evaluation?
Which makes it also quite interesting to see, hey, the difference, and so they learn a lot from each other.
Okay, so they gave their feedback about what they'd seen and the work they. Okay. Okay, and Mary Grazia wants to know how many people were in each team.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all the teams worked and produced.
Was it a lot of work to organize it? You know, to get all those topics and get the teams organized. Was that a lot of work? And the topics were chosen by you or by the students themselves?
No, I mean, I'm really always impressed of what is going on without us knowing really in detail, because of course we cannot know all the projects that are going on. So I'm happy. I mean, we have this opportunity to share. I think the audience, I mean, everyone can just grab what they maybe need for next year, some inspiration, some ideas, and it's always good to share.
Yes, Franz, we can indeed.
My compliments to all. I think it's good if we finish early. It's everyone is so busy with these online meetings. It's okay.
Indeed, it looks like a really interesting and exciting project. Very well put together. Ah, okay. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments from our audience? Obviously, you overcame some of these challenges that you have here on the screen for your slides. I think